They say peace is fragile in South Los Angeles, especially when territories, loyalties, and histories clash. The Bloodstone villains have long held their ground, but their story with the Pueblo Bishop Bloods is one of shifting alliances, betrayals, and battles, not just for turf, but for survival. This is the war between Bloodstone villains and Pueblo Bishop Bloods. You'll hear how it began, the key moments, what it cost, and where things stand now. In the low bottoms of East-South LA, in the blocks around 50 to Slauson, Bloodstone villains claimed their space early. Their base lay in neighborhoods where chance didn't favor anyone, where work was scarce, schools were underfunded, and the weight of the streets pressed on every youth. Pueblo Bishop Bloods emerged nearby, from the Pueblo del Rio housing towers, from Alameda, from a community trying to rise even as walls closed in. For years, neighbors knew both gangs, parties, shared corners, even graffiti that merged both names, reading BSVPB, a sign of alliance or shared identity, or perhaps just survival. Things began to change in the late 1990s. Sources say a drug deal went bad. A Pueblo Bishop member allegedly killed one of BSV's own in execution style. Some say leadership disputes, loyalty shifts during prison time, and competition over profits from illicit trade were spices in the brew of conflict. As police pressure increased, some BSV members felt abandoned, others felt threatened. Trust cracked. The old tie that connected graffiti started fading, replaced by separate tags, taunts, rival colors. As tension grew, so did the acts that would define this war. Drive-bys, retaliations, stealth attacks became more common. One story often told involves the Cornelio shooting. A man, vacuuming his car outside his home, was shot in the back in what was said to be mistaken identity. He died in front of his 2-year-old son. That killing became part of the dark ledger between Pueblo Bishop and BSV, proof that these battles didn't stay within the gang boundaries. They spilled into the lives of everyday people. Another turning point came when law enforcement escalated. In 2010, a sweeping operation dubbed Operation Family Ties brought racketeering, weapons charges, and indictments against dozens of Pueblo Bishop members. The strategy was to weaken the organizational structure of the Pueblos, to disrupt their networks, and to send a message. The community would not be left uncared for when violence erupted. But prosecutions had consequences for both sides. Leaders were imprisoned, leaders shifted, allegiances transformed as fear and survival shaped new alliances. BSV, though hit by arrest and pressure, held onto certain terrains. Their territories around the 50th, near Slauson, near Hooper, remained largely under their influence. Yet, this holding ground came at cost. Members lost to prison, lives lost to bullets, younger recruits swept in with fewer options. Every loss, every incarceration, shifted dynamics inside the gang. Some leaders lost sway, some members drifted away, some stayed ferociously loyal. Meanwhile, Patterson, the Hood Tour style videos from inside low bottoms show how neighborhoods remember. Graffiti still reads BSV on walls, curbs. Children know the names, the colors, the stories. Pueblo Bishop claims continue, but so do BSV's asserts of dominance. And locals speak of quiet ceasefires, heard rumors of peace talks, or at least truces for holidays, but retaliation is always a trigger away. Tagging, nighttime shootings, drive-bys, they continue, though often more discreet, more cautious. Beyond the street battles, what war really costs is human life. Families buried young men, mothers raising kids who grow up hearing sirens, community centers shuttered or underfunded, residents avoiding certain streets at night, schools where some students are absent not because they don't care, but because violence in the street makes walking home unsafe. Ex-members tell stories of trying to leave, to change, but being pulled back by loyalty, by need, by lack of opportunities. The war isn't just physical, it's psychological. What's underreported is how external forces influence the conflict. Poverty, systemic disinvestment in housing, policing policies that focused on arrests rather than prevention, school closures, gang tensions inflamed by media portrayals. All of these carved spaces where rivalry grew. Some BSV voices speak of how redevelopment and gentrification pushed rivals closer together as boundaries shrink and neighborhoods get reshaped. These shifts aren't always visible, but they shift power silently. Today, the war isn't as explosive in headlines, but in many ways, it is more dangerous. Patterns of retaliation have shifted to smaller scale, night shootings rather than midday conflict, more use of social media to claim status, alliances made in whispers, betrayal more personal, BSV leaders have fractured, new younger voices demand respect. Community efforts, a few NGOs, some city outreach try to intervene. But distrust runs deep. Many in BSV remain wary of outsiders. Many in Pueblo Bishop feel underrepresented in news, in politics, in resource. If there is hope, it comes in recognizing that what fuels the war isn't just criminal enterprise, it's environment. Schools that can't teach because attendance drops. Youth with no job prospect. Families broken by absence, grief. But stories from ex-members, from mothers, from community organizers suggest paths out. Mentorship, job training, arts programs, mediation, all small steps, often unreported, but crucial. The war between Pueblo Bishop and Bloodstone Villains is not over. It's woven into block-by-block life in South LA, into daily risks, whispered reputation, territorial claims, fear and survival. The question is how long this cycle continues, how many more funerals, how many children grow up seeing gang color as identity before they see it as danger? How many stories will be lost if no one documents them carefully? Because this isn't just about turf or rivalry. This is about who gets to walk home, who gets to grow up, who sees possibilities beyond the street. If we understand BSV's side of this war, where they came from, how battles rose and fell, what pressures shaped them, what lives were lost, we understand something much bigger. How America watches some neighborhoods fight wars no one wants to see. That's the breakdown. I would ask you, please like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that bell for notifications. More stories coming soon. Until then, watch your step and respect the streets.